Hello, everyone. I'm Akinola. Welcome to Pataki Academy. This channel shares with you simple lessons on software development, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence skill with sample projects to know and how to use this technology to boost productivity. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like icon so you don't miss any of our weekly tutorials. Cybersecurity. In this lecture, we are going to look at the following: the overview, introduction to cybersecurity, threats, vulnerability and attack, security control, CIA triad or non-repudiation, AAA model, gap analysis, zero trust, physical security, and disruption. Today's lecture focuses on cybersecurity, the practice of protecting system, network, and data from digital attack. In this lecture, we will cover the basic concepts, key components, and real-world application. Advanced technical detail will be discussed in later session. Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity refers to the practice of protecting computer system, network, and digital data from unauthorized access, damage, theft, or disruption. It ensures confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. What is threat? Threat is any potential danger that can exploit a system weakness to cause harm. Example of threats: we have malware. This is malicious software like virus, worm, and ransomware. Phishing attack. This is fraudulent attempt to obtain sensitive information from your system, your database, and so on. Advanced persistent threat is a long-term targeted attack by a skilled hacker or nation state. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is weakness or flaw in a system that can be exploited by a threat. Examples of vulnerability are unpatched software or updated system, weak or reused password, misconfigure system setting. Vulnerability alone don't cause harm. They were exploited by threats to perform attack. What is attack? Attack is an intentional attempt to exploit vulnerability to compromise a system. The common attacks are malware attack, the virus, the worm, ransomware, spyware, social engineering attack, phishing, spear phishing, smishing, and so on. We have denial of service attack. This is when you overload system to make them unavailable. When the attacker overloads your system to make it unavailable. Man in the middle, intercepting communication to steal or alter data. Relationship between threats, vulnerability, and attack. Vulnerability is a weakness in a system. Threat is a potential danger that targets the vulnerability. Attack is actual exploitation of vulnerability by the threat. Now, next one is security control. How do you secure? How do you guide your system? Security controls are safeguard or countermeasure implement to reduce security risk and protect assets. They are categorized into preventive control, which number one, the stop security incident before it occurs. Preventive control stops security incident before they occur. Example is firewall, antivirus software, strong authentication, and access control. Detective control identify and detect security breaches after they occur. Examples are IDS, security audit, and log monitoring. Corrective control. This mitigates the impact of security incidents. It mitigates the impact of security incidents. Example, a backup restoration, patch management, incident response procedure. Now, the next category is security control category. What are the categories? We have 4 categories. One of them is technical control. Technical control are hardware or software-based mechanisms used to protect information systems from cyber threats. Key example, the firewall. It monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on security rules. IDS, intrusion detection prevention and prevention system. This detects suspicious activities and prevents potential attack. The technical control continue. We have antivirus and anti-spyware software. This protects endpoints from malicious software. Encryption encode data to prevent unauthorized access during transmission or storage. Access control mechanism. It ensures that only the authorized user can access specific resources, e.g., using of password, biometrics, and multi-factor authentication. What is the purpose of technical control? It prevents unauthorized access. It protects data integrity. It detects cyber threats in real time. The next is managerial control. Managerial control are policy, procedure, administrative action that guide and enforce cybersecurity practice within an organization. Example, security policy and procedure. There's going to be a defined rule and guideline to safe information use. Risk management. It identifies, assess, and mitigate potential cybersecurity risk. Compliance and auditing. Ensure adherence to legal, regulatory, and industry standards. Managerial control continue. Incident response planning. This prepare for and respond effectively to cyber incidents. Security awareness training. This is when you educate the employees about vising, social engineering, and best security practice. All these are under managerial control. What is the purpose of managerial control? It establishes organizational cybersecurity framework. It is to ensure consistency cybersecurity practice. Is to reduce the risk from human and administrative error. The third one is operational control. Operational control are day-to-day procedure and activities that maintain the security of information system. These controls are often executed by IT personnel or system administrators. Key example, users account management. Here, there's going to be a creating, modifying, or disabling account with appropriate privilege. Patch management, applying update and security patches to fix vulnerability. All these are still under operational control. Backup and recovery procedure, regular data backup and disaster recovery plan. Operational control still continue. It's monitoring and logging. tracking system activities to detect abnormal behaviors. Secure configuration management is to ensure systems are securely configured according to the best practice. Purpose of operational control. Number one, to protect system from operational threats, to maintain continuity of IT services, detect and respond to security incidents. And the last one is physical control. Physical control protects physical access to computing and network resources. Ensure that cyber threats cannot bypass digital security by exploiting physical vulnerability. Example of physical control is fencing and barrier. That is restricting unauthorized access to the facility. Your data center, your building, that's fencing and barrier. Access control system. This is the use of ID card, biometric, keypad for entry into your center or building. Video surveillance, CCTV. This will monitor activate physical premises for suspicious activities. Physical control also continue. You have a security guard which will prevent unauthorized entry or protect assets. Environmental control, the fire suppression, temperature, humidity monitoring, and backup power system. What is the purpose of physical control? It prevents unauthorized physical access. It protects hardware, network, and data from damage or theft. Ensures safe operating environment for IT system. Security control category. We have technical, we have managerial, we have operational, we have physical. While the examples are there, the firewall, IPS, technical, security policy, risk management, compliance. For managerial, then we have accounts, patch management, and so on. So why the purpose for technical control is to prevent unauthorized access, managerial to establish framework, reduce human risk, operational to maintain system security and continuity, and physical to prevent physical threat and hardware damage. Now, security control type. Now, what are the security control type? We have about 6 of them. We have 6 of them. Security control type are 6 in number. Number 1 is preventive control. Preventive control are designed to stop security incidents before they occur. The main goal is to proactive detection against unauthorized access, misuse, or attack. Example of these are firewall and IPS. Strong password policy or multi-factors authentication. Network segmentation and secure system configuration. Then security awareness training for the employees. Purpose of preventive control is to minimize the probability of cyber incident, to block unauthorized access, and reduce vulnerability. Number 2 of security control type is deterrent. Deterrent control are intended to discourage potential attackers from attempting security breach. They rely on visibility, rules, and consequence to reduce the likelihood of an attack. That's a deterrent. You prevent the hackers, you prevent the attackers. Now, what are the examples? Warning sign. A warning sign or access restriction notice will be placed in your center, in your building. Security policy communicated to staff and visitors. Visible surveillance camera that all can see. Visible surveillance camera, legal and regulatory compliance policy. Deterrent control. Why deterrent? It reduces the motivation of attackers. There won't be any interest. It will reduce the interest of attacking your database. It increases passive risk for would-be intruders. Detective control. That's the third one. Detective control identify and alert organization of security incident or irregularity. This control do not prevent incidents, but help detect and respond to them quickly. Example of this is intrusion detection system, security information and event management, audit log and monitoring, network traffic analysis, and anomaly detection. Detective control, the purpose, to detect malicious activities or policy violation. It provides information to respond effectively. Number 4 is corrective control. Corrective control are measures that restore system and data after security incidents has occurred. The issue has occurred, but how do you now correct? And what has happened? They are part of incident response and recovery planning. It will restore data by restoring data from backup. That's number 1. By applying security patches after vulnerability is exploited, isolating affected system to prevent spread of malware. Then lastly, update firewall rule or access permission. Corrective control purpose. It limits damage caused by security incident. It restores normal operation quickly. And the next one is compensating control. All these are seen under security control type. Compensating control are alternative security measures used when primary control are not visible or are insufficient. They provide a more substitute layer of protection. Example, using encryption when physical security is weak. Implementing additional monitoring when access control is limited. Using VPNs or secure tunnel when network segmentation is not possible. All these are compensating control. Purpose is to achieve security objective when standard control cannot be applied. To mitigate risk in constrained and or resource-limited environment. And the last one is directive control. Next one is directive control. Directive control are policy, procedure, or guideline that direct, guide, or instruct personnel on appropriate security behaviors. They focus on preventing human error or non-compliance. Key examples of these are acceptable use policy for IT resources, security awareness and training program, standard operating procedure for incident reporting, password, and data handling guideline. Directive control. The purpose is to ensure personnel allow security best practice. It reduces risk caused by human mistakes or negligence. These are the 6 of them. These are the 4 categories. The source of this from http professormeza.com. So these are the category. We have the technical category, we have managerial category, we have operational category, we have physical category. And under control type example, we have preventive, we have deterrent, we have detective, we have corrective, we have compensating, and we have directive. So all these are control types and category. Control types and category. The next module is CIA triad. What is CIA triad? It is the foundation of cybersecurity principle. That is, the CIA simply means confidentiality, integrity, and availability. What is confidentiality? This ensures that information is accessible only to the authorized users. Example, encryption of sensitive data. Integrity. This ensures that information is accurate and unaltered. Example is ask function to verify file integrity. Availability is to ensure that information and system are accessible when needed. That is availability. Example is redundant server and disaster recovery plan. Non-repudiation. What is non-repudiation? Non-repudiation ensures that a person or entity cannot deny the authenticity of their action or communication. It ensures that a party involved in a digital transaction communication cannot falsely deny their participation, providing undeniable proof of origin, integrity, and delivery, physically, typically through digital signature and encryption. Crucial for trust in e-commerce and legal contracts or online banking. It makes it impossible for a sender to deny sending a message or recipient to deny receiving the message, establishing accountability and preventing fraud. This is non-repudiation. This is non-repudiation. Non-repudiation provides accountability and proof of origin in digital transaction. What are the examples? Digital signature, audit logs, blockchain transaction record. All these are non-repudiation. AAA model in cybersecurity. What is AAA model in cybersecurity? AAA in cybersecurity simply means authentication, authorization, and accounting model in a cybersecurity framework. Controlling network access. Number one, authentication means verifying users' identity. Authorization means define their permission, while the accounting means logging their activities. Everything they have done will be in the log. In order to enforce security policy, audit usage, and bill for services, work chronologically from users login to resource consumption. This is AAA model. Simply means authentication, authorization, and accounting. AAA model only verify users have access to appropriate resources and provide a crucial audit trail for security and compliance. That is, authentication means to verify the identity of a user. Authorization means to determine the access rights. What type of access does this user have? Then, accounting or auditing means to track and log all his or her activities on your system. That's AAA model. Authentication is the process of verifying the identity of a user, device, or system before granting the access to the server. That's authentication. The method of doing this includes the password and PIN. Biometrics, the fingerprint or facial recognition. Two-factor or multi-factor authentication. All this ensure that only legitimate user can access the system or data. That is authentication. Authorization determine what action or resources an authenticated user is allowed to access out of from your server database. What are those actions or resources the users can allow to access? Example, a user may be able to log in but can only read certain files. That is authorized. Allowed to log in means authenticated, but only to read a certain file means authorized. That's authorization, often implemented through role-based access control or policy-based access. Accounting, the third one, also known as auditing, is to track and log user activity within the system. This provides accountability and traceability of action. Example is your system login, your database transaction log, security event monitoring. So, authentication plus authorization plus accounting together are often referred to as AAA in cyber security. The next step is gap analysis in cybersecurity. What is gap analysis? Gap analysis simply means where our company is today and where we want to be in future. The difference between where we are today and where we want to be in future is known as gap analysis. Gap analysis is the process of identifying the differences between current security measures we are having in our company and desired security standard. That's gap analysis. It is the difference between where we are and where we would like to be. Number 3, it helps organizations find vulnerability, missing control, and risk. And it enables planning for security improvement and compliance with regulation. This is gap analysis. Example, the diagram also from Professor Meso site. So this is gap analysis overview. This diagram on the board shows is a company having its 7 branches or location. Their access control, the blue means that their access control is almost perfect, almost 100% sure in a location 1. Let's say location 1 is in their location 2, where it's not really up to the standard they're expecting. But in location 3, it is very poor. So they need to work on it. All other location 4 to 7 shows that they need to work on their access control in all these locations. Let's quickly look for example to maintenance. Look at the maintenance. Out of these 7 locations, location 1 and 2 is fair in maintenance, while from location 3 to 6 is very bad for this company. So in their all location, they need to work on their maintenance. The maintenance is virtually almost very poor. Let's quickly look at security assessment. Security assessment. In location 1 is fair. Location 2 is very okay. Location 3 is okay. Location 4 is okay. But look at location 5 and 6. They need to work on it. So these are the gap analysis. A company with this kind of 7 locations, branches, and all these have to be looked into. Their security requirements, how are they fair in all these locations? That's the gap analysis. Zero trust. What is zero trust? Zero trust is a modern security model that assumes no user or devices is inherently trustworthy. That is, we don't trust anyone. Nobody is trusted, whether in your company or outside the company. No staff, nobody is being trusted. That is zero trust. Even inside the network parameter. Zero trust is a cybersecurity framework used on never trust, always verify. It does not matter who you are, you have to verify Never trust, always verify. Meaning, no user or device is trusted by default, inside or outside the network, requiring strict identification, verification, and continuous validation for every access attempt to resource. Zero trust shifts from traditional parameter-focused security of those days to a data-centric approach, assuming threats exist elsewhere and reinforcing least privileged access, granular control, and control segmentation to limit potential breach impacts. What are the core principles of zero trust? Verify every access request. Apply least privileged access. Continuously monitor and validate session. And lastly, it reduces the risk of insider threat and lateral movement by the attackers. Zero trust principle. Verify explicitly. Always authenticate and authorize based on all available data points. That is identity, location, device health, services, and so on. Use least privileged access. Grant only the permission needed for a specific task for a limited time, not broad network access. Assume breach. Design the network as if the attacker are already inside. Focus on minimizing lateral movement through techniques like micro segmentation. Then how does zero trust work? How does zero trust work? Number one, identify verification in strong authentication for every user and devices. Number two, consensual access. Access decisions are dynamic based on real-time risk assessment, e.g., unusual location, compromised devices. Number three, Microsoft segmentation, dividing the network into small, isolated zones to contain threat. Continual monitoring simply means constantly monitoring users, devices, and network behavior for anomalies. Zero trust, why is it important? Why is it important? Zero trust is important because it addresses modern threats in cloud environment with remote work and on-personal devices. Zero trust is important because it prevents attackers from moving freely within network even after breaching the perimeter. Zero trust is very important because it protects sensitive data by focusing control on data itself, not just the network edges. Holistic defense. For a cybersecurity to be protected, for a server to be protected, a data to be protected, cybersecurity is not only limited to software, it includes physical security. That is, protecting infrastructure from physical threats. It includes deception, using trap to detect or mislead attacker. It includes disruption, actively preventing or stopping attacker. This strategy complements digital security control and provide holistic defense for organization or individual. Physical security, what are the physical security? Physical security involves protecting hardware facility and network infrastructure from physical threats and unauthorized access. Goal is to prevent theft, damage. Example of this is security guard or surveillance camera, lock server room and restrict access, biometric access control and key card, fire compression suppression system. Physical security is a fundamental aspect of cybersecurity that focuses on protecting the physical infrastructure, such as the building, data center, server, network devices, personnel, from unauthorized access, damage, theft, and disruption. Physical security work hand in hand with technical and administrative security measures. Below are physical security components commonly used to protect information systems. Number one is barricade and bollard. Barricade and bollard are physical barriers installed around sensitive facilities such as data center or server room. Purpose of barricade and bollard is to prevent unauthorized vehicle access or protect against ram raiding or vehicle-borne attack. Relevance: they safeguard critical infrastructure that houses servers, network cable, communication equipment from physical destruction. Access control vestibule. Access control vestibule is a small secure area between two doors where one door must close before another one can be opened. Purpose of this is to ensure that only one authorized person enter at a time, just like in our banks. Relevance: prevent targeting and unauthorized access to server room or network operation center. Physical security also, another one is fencing. Fencing establishes a control perimeter around facility. Purpose of this is to deter, to delay, and detect unauthorized entry. Relevance: this acts as a first line of defense, protecting data center and communication facility from intruders who may attempt to access hardware directly. Physical security also continue. We have video surveillance, CCTV. Video surveillance system monitor and record activities in and around secure location. Purpose of this is to provide real-time monitoring and recorded evidence of activities. Relevance: it helps detect suspicious behaviors, investigate security incidents, and support forensic analysis after a breach. Guard and access breach. Security guard and access breach work together to control and monitor human access. So the security guard will verify the identity, respond to incidents, and enforce security policy. Access badges use RFID, the smart card or biometric feature, to grant or deny entry. Relevance of guard and access badges: it prevents unauthorized personnel from gaining physical access to systems that store or provide sensitive data. Lightning is under physical security. Proper lighting is an often overlooked but essential security measure. Purpose of this: it improves visibility and deter criminal activities. Relevance: a well-lit environment, a well-lit area reduces the risk of tampering with cable, server, network equipment, especially during night time. Sensors under physical security. Sensors include motion detector, door contact, vibration sensor, and environmental sensor. Purpose of this to detect unauthorized movements, forced entry, or environmental threats, fire, flood, overheating. And the relevance of this is to early detection of physical threats, help prevent hardware damage and data loss that could lead to physical incidents. Deception in cybersecurity. What is deception? Deception in cybersecurity strategy is a defensive strategy that deliberately misleads attackers by preventing fake systems, fake data, fake resources that appear real and valuable. They are not really your data. They are not really your server. but just a deception, just a fake data, a fake server elsewhere that that mislead the attackers from performing their activities on your real data. Deception is a powerful cybersecurity strategy that shifts the activities from attacker to defender. Deception. Deception goal is to detect, to delay, to confuse, to study attacker while protecting genuine assets. All their activities in the fake server, in the fake data will be recorded, and the organization can use it to protect their real server. Instead of only blocking threats, deception techniques actively engage adversary. They are busy doing irrelevance. Two common and effective deception tools are the honeypot and the honey token. These are the two common deceptive tools, the honeypot and honey token. So deception is a defensive strategy that deliberately mislead attacker by preventing fake system. Under deception, we still have honeypot. Honeypot is a decor system, services, or application designed to look like a legitimate target, but is isolated from real production system. The purpose of honeypot is to attract attackers and monitor their activities, divert attackers from real targets, gather intelligence, and detect intrusion early. Honeypot, how does it work? Attacker interact with the honeypot believing it is a real system, while security team observe their techniques, tools, and behavior. Type of honeypot. Low interaction honeypot. This will stimulate limited services and are easier to deploy. High interaction honeypot, fully functional system that provide deeper insight into attackers' behaviors, but requires stronger monitoring and isolation. Benefit of deception: early detection of intrusion, identification of attack method and vulnerability, reduction of false positive since legitimate user should not access honeypot. Honey token. Honey token is a fake digital asset such as credential, file, database record, API key, email address placed within real system. The purpose of honey token is to detect unauthorized access or data exfiltration. How does it work? If a honeypot is accessed, moved, or used, it triggers an alert because it has no legitimate use. Honey token. Example of honey token: fake administrator credential, deco customer record in a database, dummy cloud storage file, embedded tracking file values in documents. The benefits of honey token: quick detection of insider threat, aggregation of compromised accounts, tracing how and where stolen data is used. Importance of deception in cybersecurity: it's a proactive defense. It detects attacker from real damage occur. Attackers' intelligence: it provides insight to tactics, technique, and procedure. It stores attackers and gather intelligence, gather all their information. Cost effective, often easier and cheaper than traditional security tool. Minimal impact on user. Legitimate user rarely interact with deceptive assets. Therefore, deception in cybersecurity is use of trap or misleading information to detect, to mislead, or slow down attackers. So purpose is to divert attacker from real targets, gather intelligence, and detect intrusion early. Example is honeypot, fake server or system to attract attackers, honey token, fake data or credential to monitor malicious activities, deco network, and fake vulnerability. Disruption in cybersecurity. This refers to the defensive action taken to interrupt, to degrade, to stop an attacker activities once malicious behaviors is detected. Rather than only detecting and preventing attackers, disruption focuses on breaking the attacker's skill chain, limiting damage, and preventing further exploitation of system, network, or data. Disruption is commonly used alongside prevention, detection, and response strategy to reduce impact of cyber threat. Disruption refers to actively intervene with an attacker's operation to stop or limit attacker. Disruption is a vital security strategy, cybersecurity strategy that actively interfere with ongoing attack by using methods such as account lockout, network isolation, blocking malicious traffic, terminating processes, patches vulnerability, and automated responses. Method of disruption in cybersecurity: account lockout and credential revocation, that is, disabling or locking compromised user account and resetting credential. Purpose of this is to prevent attacker from continuing to use stolen username, password, or token. Example, locking an account after detecting unusual lock behavior. Method of disruption again is network isolation, that is quarantine. Description of this is to separate infected or suspicious system from the main network. Purpose is to stop malware or attacker from spreading laterally. Example, moving a compromised endpoint into a quarantine VLAN. Method, continue, blocking malicious IP address or domain, that is, using firewall, IPS, DNS filtering to block unknown source. That is, purpose to cut off communication between attackers and compromised system. Example, blocking command and control server used by malware. Next one is to terminating malicious process and session. That is, forcefully stop suspicious process or active attacker session. This is under disruption. Purpose of this is halt ongoing exploitation or data infiltration. Example is to killing ransomware process before encryption completes. You kill the ransomware processes before encryption completes. Still continue with disruption. Rate limiting and traffic throttling. That is, limit the volume of traffic allowed from specific source. Purpose of this is to reduce the effectiveness of brute force attack and denial of service attempts. Example, throttling repeatedly login attempts from a single IP. Method, continue, in disruption, deceptive response. Description, feeding attacker with false data or redirecting them to deco system. Purpose of this is to waste attackers' resources and delay real attack. Example, redirecting suspicious traffic to a honeypot. patch deployment and vulnerability mitigation, rapid applying security patches, or disabling vulnerability services. Purpose of this is to remove the attack vector being exploited. Example, temporarily shut down the vulnerable web service until patch. Automated security orchestration and response. This is another disruption in cybersecurity. What does it mean? This means using automated workflow to respond to real threats in real time. Purpose of this is to speed up disruption and reduce human error. Example is to automatically isolate a device when malware is being detected. Another method of disruption is data access revocation. Description of this is to restricting access to sensitive file or database during an incident. Purpose is to prevent data theft or unauthorized modification. Example, temporarily revoking access to a critical record. Importance of disruption. What are the importance? Number one is to limit damage. You stop attack before fully impact occur. Is to reduce dwell time, force attacker out of the system quickly. Protect critical assets is to prevent data loss and system compromise. Support incident response, that is, buying time for investigation and remediation. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like icon so you don't miss any of our weekly tutorials. Thank you.